How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. Okay, I'm gonna try and get this. So for live, let's see here. Is it on Good for Spooning or is it on?
It's on Good for Spooning.
Okay. Oh, there you go. I'm tagged in the post. So we're gonna go ahead and share. Come on, start a watch party. Here we go.
And this, for those of you who are just joining us, this is my friend Honey Bouquet.
Hello.
Honey lives in Seattle and is down in Vegas visiting family. And I said, oh my God, you're coming. We should cook together.
Totally.
And Honey was like, yes, let's do it. So I am out fabulous by Miss Fabulous here. Honey and I have known each other for a little over 20 years, I think.
It was like 98.
That is correct.
Yeah, so like about 22.
Yeah.
At least.
So we've known each other a very long time. We met at church of all places.
Hallelujah. Yes, Jesus.
So for those of you joining us for the very first time at Good for Spooning, this is my real house. This is my real kitchen. We have real dogs, so they may or may not bark at any given time during the demo. And our one little dog is a little...
freaked out by the wig.
Yeah.
Freaked out. Was fine when I came in the door, but as soon as I put on this wig, that dog.
Oh, poor Yogi. He's having a conniption fit. So, with COVID, all of your performances have been put on hold.
Yes.
And this is the only place you actually get to perform is on camera
yes.
right now. So I'm glad that we're giving you the opportunity to do that. And
yes.
we're hoping that you entertain the Good for Spooning audiences as much as you entertain me.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do, because I gave you a shopping list, and I'm actually going to start from the bottom and work our way up. So we're going to start with our cocktail, then we're going to move on to our Spanakopita, and then we're going to do the baked brie last, and Honey's going to assist me with all of it. So what I'm going to do is get all the ingredients for the tinto out of the fridge, because everything needs to be super cold. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what you do when you are able to perform live?
Okay, so I am, I say Seattle, that's where I'm from, but it's technically Tacoma, which is in the South, it's a little more trashy, I would say, than Seattle, a little more tough, I guess. And, but most of my performances are in Seattle. I've been doing a show called Bacon Strip for, God, at least 10 years, 11 years. I co-host the show with Silvio, Stay for More. And
who actually said she was going to be on watching today.
Oh, fabulous. I love my Sylvia. And so that's the show I've been doing the longest. And then I also have another show at a bar in White Center called The Lumberyard, and the show is called Gut Slut, because Miss Honey loves her big men with big guts. So it's basically a dance party with some, we do a couple of performances throughout the evening. So it's been really fun. We actually it's first Fridays normally when we're not in the COVID thing. And so a bar opened up across the street, another gay bar, and they started a show on first Fridays called, what is that? Rat City Cruise.
Uh-huh.
And so this is what's fabulous. So one of the queens that started the show is Old Witch. And so she contacted me and said, girl, we're having a show the same night. When are your performances? Because I want to schedule it so we're not at the same time.
That was very nice.
Yes, and so actually it was really cool. It was kind of like, I called it a progressive drag party. Because basically people would go back and forth. It's just literally just across the street. So people would come. We started off at 10, and then Rat City Cruise would be at 10:30, and we just went back and forth like that through the night.
That's super fun.
It was super fun,
and good for everybody.
Yeah, but what sucks is Swallow just announced they're not reopening.
Oh.
So we won't be able to do that anymore.
That's too bad.
It is.
Okay, so honey, what I'm going to ask you to do.
Okay.
I used this orange for another cocktail. We just took the peel off it. I'm going to ask you to cut this into quarters so we can use it into our cocktail.
Okay.
And I'll open up the wine. Okay, so what you should have done by now is gotten out your phyllo, because we're going to be working with that later, And your oven should be on, preheating to 400 degrees, because we want that to be ready to go for all of the stuff that we're gonna do. Doesn't that smell great?
Oh, it smells fabulous.
Ooh. You know, I used to be a cocktail waitress, and I used to be able to do this with absolutely no trouble. And since I've been out of the game for a while, I always have friggin' problems.
You go, girl. Do it, girl. Yeah, you go. That's the way a real lady does it, honey. Yes.
So, I have to say...
You ought to see her open a beer bottle.
I have to say that I actually got the idea for this cocktail from a TV show called, believe it or not, Amy Schumer Learns to Cook. So if, for those of you that don't know, Amy Schumer happens to be married to a James Beard Award-winning chef. And she does not know how to cook a damn thing. So they, because of COVID, they went and they hunkered down in some place in upstate New York, and they filmed with, like we're doing with, you know, this camera and little handheld cameras, him teaching her to cook in the kitchen, which is really sweet and charming, and it's very, very interesting. And he does give her some really good technique, but she always handled the cocktail portion, and this was something that she made.
So the first thing was red wine?
First thing was red wine, an entire bottle of red wine.
Is that sweet vermouth?
This is sweet vermouth, and this is called Antica.
Ooh.
Right? And we're gonna dump it in.
I don't know that I ever had sweet vermouth, and now I can't.
Honey likes to keep her wits about her, so she doesn't drink anymore. Okay, so what we're gonna do is squeeze those oranges in here. While you're doing that, I'm gonna cut up our garnishes.
Now, do you just drop it in there?
I don't
Okay.
actually. I leave it out. And I'm using blood orange for our garnishes today because I have them. Look how beautiful they are.
Ooh, that one is.
Isn't that great? It's beautiful.
We were just talking about blood oranges before we started, about how we just love how you never know when you cut, you're not going to know what it's like until you get into it.
Right.
And that one just has great color.
It really does. For those of you who are unfamiliar with blood oranges, they, you know, they're just a little bit tangier, perhaps, than a regular orange. We're just going to squeeze a couple in and drop them in.
These are just these.
That's a super juicy orange,
It's
right?
super juicy orange. Dang.
I'll just put the rest of my garnish over here because I'm not going to need it. Because I'm just making two, one for me and one for the husbando. Okay, so we're all done. And then we're going to mix it up. Now I had plenty of ice in my pitcher to start. You can just pull out the trash right there.
Oh, look at that.
And we're gonna-
My setup's not nearly this nice because I don't have a sink. I don't have a sink right there, and I don't have the garbage right there, so I can pull out.
Wipe your board down and then we're cutting out shallot. Okay, so we just mixed it up. It's nothing fancy.
Oh, Yogi's getting mad at my wig.
And then what you're gonna do is in your wine glass. Now you can, if you have a really big pitcher, you can do this in the pitcher, but I don't. So I am gonna pour it in here. And then we're gonna put in on top the same amount of 7-Up. And this works best if all of your ingredients are cold, because you don't want your ice to be melting up and diluting your drink.
Looks fabulous.
Right?
And look at you, like, you just perfect. Like, it didn't, I thought it was going to go over, and look at you.
Former barmaid. See, I can still do some shit, right? Okay, would you, John, like me to reach across?
I will come in.
You're gonna come in and
shop.
say hello? Lee's gonna come in and say hello. Get your fresca, bitch.
There you go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I was so glad that you had Fresca. Like, you don't
Smell
know.
that?
It smells fabulous.
Right?
It smells really good.
And it's super refreshing on a really hot day like this. And it's really easy to make. All right, so, honey,
Yes.
let's get started.
Okay.
You've got a knife there.
Okay.
You've got your shallots. I'm going to ask you to dice them fine.
Okay.
And I am going to get everything else ready to go. So
Okay.
I'll work on the garlic, you work on the shallots.
Okay.
Now, for those of you who always say, Leanne, you're going too fast, we're gonna actually go a little fast today because I have 2 sets of hands. So we'll try to keep it at a level that everybody can follow along.
And remember, you can always pause.
You know what? But Labette told me that she can't pause it on an iPad. So if you're working on an iPad, I'm sorry, but I know if you're working on your laptop that it does work because I have done it with other people's live demos. So now we're going to start working out. We've got our Tinto done. We have a little liquid courage. We're going to get started. See, you do it different than I do.
How do you do it?
I do it like this. I'm waiting for you to
Okay.
I go like this.
See, I've done that with onions, and I don't know why.
I don't know why you're doing it that way.
Well, I don't either. But I already started.
This is you start. Okay. And so your garlic, remember it calls for 4 cloves. These ones are kind of small, so I'm going to do 5. Remember what I told you, flat side of your blade pointing out, mash it down, and just remove your skin. Honey's doing excellent knife holding skills, you'll notice.
I did work in a, what do you call it? I worked in a couple of restaurants.
Did you?
Yes, I worked at California. I learned how to hold my knife like this at California Pizza Kitchen.
See, everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yes.
I don't remember where I learned how to hold my knife right. I think it was in the family deli.
You have Family Deli?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know, I grew up, my stepfather was a butcher, and, you know, knife skills were something that was learned.
Let me guess, it was in Alabama,
It
right?
was not in Alabama. It was actually
No banjos. No banjos.
upstate New York.
Close enough.
I
though.
never would have guessed.
Close enough.
Oh, that's looking great. Okay. All right, so we're going to heat up our pan. And I told you to have 2.5 sticks of butter.
Oh, you never have too much butter.
Never have too much butter. So 2 of your sticks are going to get melted. So get yourself a heat-safe container. Put those 2 sticks in and be ready to melt those. And you really don't need a whole, you really need 2 tablespoons of this. So we're just going to hack off 2 tablespoons. And we're going to put this in our pan. Now I'm going to try and keep this so you can see what's going on. Oh, that looks great, honey.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks great. So we're going to put
I love that you have this. I'm like, I seriously thought about getting one from a cooking show.
You
because
should.
it's so.
They're like $25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I could tell you where to get one here in town cheap.
Okay.
When you could, you know, the international marketplace on Tropicana,
Yeah.
Trop and Decatur.
Yeah.
That's where this is from. It was like
Oh,
25
wow.
bucks.
Okay.
And you can
cool.
buy the butane cans that look
My
like
dad used to have a.
like that.
My dad used to have a. His office used to be right in that area.
Well, and you know.
Sure.
Okay, so we're gonna melt our butter. I'm gonna use my unitasker for my garlic.
Look at that.
I love this thing.
Wow.
I've actually.
It's not one of those speculum looking ones.
No. The speculum. When you have to do more than 1 clove, this is the way to go.
That is just amazing.
You could buy it on Amazon, it's about 12 bucks.
You can thank an engineer for that.
I know, right?
Look at that.
And you're gonna scrape it out from the inside, okay?
That's fabulous.
So, our butter is starting to bubble, perfect. We're gonna put our shallots right on in.
Oh, smells good.
And we're gonna do the same thing with our garlic. Now keep in mind, and I told you this before, I'm gonna tell you again, onions and shallots are gonna cook faster than your garlic. You don't wanna burn your garlic. So you're gonna let the onions kind of do their thing first,
You mean they're going to cook slower than your garlic?
Oh, did I say it backwards?
Yeah, I know what you meant.
The garlic cooks faster than the onions and the shallots. So you want to let the shallots kind of soften up a little bit first, and then we're going to add in our garlic. And you want to keep it stirring, and you should be doing this over medium heat. I'm a little high right now, so just to lower it down a little bit. Now, I know that when you're thinking about this, oh my God, my spinach is outside. When you're thinking, oh my God, how is she going to fit a pound of spinach in that pan? Remember, spinach has a lot of water in it, and it's going to cook down a lot. And so you're just going to add it a little bit at a time, okay? We're going to scrape our garlic in. Now, I happen to love garlic. I like to err on extra garlic as opposed to not enough.
Did you ever go to the Garlic Cafe when they had that here?
No, but I did go to the one in San Francisco.
Okay. Yeah, they're
The Stinking Rose. I think it's called the Stinking Rose.
So at the Garlic Cafe, you would order your meal. You normally know how you can go to a restaurant and they'll be like spiciness of like 1 to 5 or whatever.
Frozen or fresh?
Fresh. Thank you. My darling husband is going out to get the spinach for me that I left outside.
But yeah, you would order your meal based on the amount of garlic in this. Instead of like spicy at like Asian restaurants, like
right, 1 to 7,
yeah,
1 to 10.
Yeah, they would do. You would order your garlic by that.
Wow. And here it is. Thanks, babe. I appreciate that. Okay.
Can you open that for you?
Because we're going to use the whole thing. Because when you buy it in these canisters, it's already pre-washed, so you don't have to worry about that. And as my friend Vic asked me on a previous demo, should I take the stems off? No, when you're working with baby spinach, it's so tender, it doesn't matter.
My husband likes to buy this and then throw it away.
He lets it go to waste in the refrigerator.
He's actually gotten better. He like, I don't know, he does it with just garlic and olive oil and that's all. He just loves it. So he's gotten a lot better. I think because he found a way to cook it that he sort of really liked it, it doesn't go to waste. But before I would be like, I don't know why you just don't throw that shit in the garbage when you get home. Because that's what I end up doing, is throwing it in the garbage.
It ends up getting thrown out. So something else to keep in mind when you're making this, traditionally it is only spinach. But everybody wants to try and be healthier these days. So if you have a spinach and kale mix, you could do this exact recipe with spinach and kale combined. It'll work with any dark green, but traditionally it's just spinach. So we're just adding this in a few handfuls at a time and waiting for the spinach to wilt and the water to cook out. And then we're going to add in our cheese. Yeah, well, wait till we add the cheese in. Because you never have too much cheese.
No. Cheese, glorious cheese.
So when I give you these measurements for cheese, it's an approximation. I mean, if you really like a lot of cheese, you could certainly add a little bit more. But in this particular instance, try to stick close to it because once it's wrapped in the phyllo dough and it starts to melt, it'll all ooze out, and we're going to try and keep it in a nice tight little package. So when you go to a restaurant and order Spanakopita, you could get it in one of a couple different ways. The way we're going to do it, which is a little appetizer triangle, or you can get it actually done like a lasagna.
I've never seen that.
Oh yeah, they do it in a whole pan and then cut squares out of it. And they'll serve that as a main dish instead of an appetizer. So what's great about making this particular preparation is that you can make a whole bunch of them at once, and I will tell you at what point to freeze them. And then you can just, bake them off in the oven. You freeze them on a sheet pan in the freezer, already made, and then when it comes time to entertain, you just pull them out, throw them on your sheet pan, pop them in the oven at 400, and you're good to go.
And I entertain gentlemen a lot, and I know they love to have a little appetizer. Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm. I am not saying a word. So you'll notice how this is all cooking down. I've got almost this whole pound of spinach in here already. And it's fitting into this very small pan that, you guys didn't think was going to work. And if you open up that trash, the recycling goes in the back.
Okay.
No, right here.
Oh, the recycling's in the look
The
at.
recycling's in the back.
Ooh, look at that.
Doesn't seem to know.
Yes. Shoot.
Okay, so one of the things that I've recently found out in dealing with Greek food and Central European food is that they use an awful lot of dill. And if you doubt me, go see Nina at Forte Tapas. Have you been there?
No.
Girl,
Okay.
you need to go.
Okay, where is that?
It's on Rainbow and Flamingo in the shopping center that has the Smiths and Elise.
Okay.
And Nina uses a lot of dill, and it lends this super fresh taste to just about anything. And so when you're dealing with something like the beef pelmeni, which are these fabulous little ravioli things that she makes, she coats them with this beautiful chopped dill, and it lightens it up and it brightens it up. So instead of having this heavy thing, you've got this really nice bright taste going on in your mouth. And so dill does that. And what's great about dill too is that it goes with just about everything. You put it in egg salad. If you've watched my demo, you put it in my chicken salad recipe. It's going to go right into here. It goes in like everywhere. And it just is such a nice, bright, clean taste. Now see how much that cooked down? You guys, I don't know if you can really see that. But look at how, it really cooks down. Now you want to kind of get it dry. So let the water evaporate, because you don't want a gloppy mess inside of our filo.
Okay.
Because then it'll be slimy when we're trying to work with it.
No.
That would be bad.
You want a nice crispy dough.
That's correct. That's correct. So if you'll stir, I'm going to get the cheese out. Now the cheese, I like to keep mozzarella cold up until the last possible minute, because it grates better when it's cold. When you're working with a firm cheese like Parmesan, Asiago, Pecorino, oh man, look at that.
Oh, you're like my mom, you just cut it off.
I'm going to.
That's all you can do.
I got a little unwanted Voyagers on my cheese. And I checked it just yesterday too. I must have missed it. I must have been drinking.
Girl, it happens. It
happens to everybody. Okay, so we're going to use an extra fine grater. How's that looking? It still needs to dry out some more.
See, I would have known that, just keep cooking it to let it evaporate.
Yeah, just let it keep on cooking to
See, you're getting the real shit with this cooking show, because I don't know what I'm doing. I just fix it together, and I can't talk about all the chemistry that's going on, and
I didn't even discuss chemistry yet.
you have in the past, so I'm pretty sure.
I know I have.
I watch yours, and I'm like, she actually knows what she's talking about.
Well, I went to school.
I know. I told people, I'm actually cooking with someone who knows how to cook.
Well, I love it though. I love to cook. And you don't have to be super knowledgeable to whip out good food. You just have to have a desire. You have to want to do it.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is I think people are afraid they're gonna mess up, and you are. You're gonna mess up. But you know what? You learn and talk to people. Because I was talking to Leanne before we started filming. Because I'm I've totally gotten into making homemade pie crusts, and I have been struggling. I'm like, girl. And so we had a great conversation. So that's what you do. You find other people that are cooks or have tried it.
Yeah. And I talk to people. I talk to culinary professionals, and I tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing and it's not working. Well, this is why you should be doing that. For example, I've been making sourdough bread like the rest of the country. And I don't get the beautiful air pockets in mine. And it's, it tastes fine, but it's a little dense. And I cook, and I let it rise in these beautiful brat form bowls that I get from, I need to cook some more.
I know.
From King Arthur Flour. And they look so pretty, and it's got these beautiful spirals on it. And I don't want to mess up the spirals, so I just bake it like that. And my friend Christine, who is a culinary school graduate and used to work for Thomas Keller, says, well, the reason I have air pockets is because I score my dough. And meanwhile, James Trees told me, you should score your dough. And I'm like, why? It looks pretty. He goes, score the dough, but he didn't tell me why. Christine told me why. I scored the dough. I made the best damn sourdough I've ever made. And we're going to use some of it today. That looks much better.
Yeah,
so when you get your, I'm going to turn that flame up a little bit. So when you get your
You turned it off. There you go.
when you get your moisture almost completely out of the spinach, because we're not going to press it out like you would with a frozen spinach. When you get this so that it's nice and dry, we're going to shut the heat off. We're going to add the cheeses in, and it does take a little bit of time. But what I'm going to do while you're doing that is I'm going to get our seasonings in, and so it needs a tablespoon of dried dill weed, and I'm going to be generous. A little bit more than a tablespoon.
You were right. That's a lot of dill.
It looks like a lot of dill, doesn't it?
But you know, I do. I like dill.
I do
I
too.
like, you know how everyone's into the dill pickle flavor, whatever, because it's just dill and vinegar.
Yeah.
I found in the Love's Truck Stop, honey, in Napa Vine, Washington, they had some dill pork rinds. They were good.
Really? Like
Pork rinds.
chicharrones that were...
Yes, with dill and the vinegar. Oh, it was so good.
Or I would try that.
Yeah.
I would try that. Okay, so we're going to use fresh nutmeg. If you're using pre-grated, you probably need a little bit more than a quarter teaspoon that I'm talking about. Now, spinach and nutmeg are a classic combination. When this dish is done, if you can taste the nutmeg, you've put in a little too much. So this is one of those things that it's better to go on the light side than to go on the upside. If you're using fresh nutmeg, because it's coming straight off the nut and the oils are nice and fresh, it's gonna, can you smell that?
Yes.
It's crazy, right?
It is.
It has a lot more flavor than the stuff that you buy in the grocery store. And here in Vegas, you can find whole nutmeg at a very reasonable price at almost any Asian market, definitely at the Indian markets. It comes in a little bag with all these nuts in it, and you just need a fine microplane grater, and you're good to go.
I love going to the Asian market.
I do too.
It's like one of the places that you can find fresh okra.
Yeah.
It's like, I was telling
You
my...
can find it at the at Cardenas every now and then too.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, in Washington, I have the hardest time finding it, and then, but the Asian markets, they totally have it.
And it's cheap.
Yes, I remember, I was telling my dad, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm going by the Asian market, I'm going to make some okra. He's like, they have the okra at the Asian? I'm like, yeah.
Yes, I am. Oh, no, see, that's looking
Yes,
really
it's
good.
getting better.
And it smells. Can you smell the
Yes.
dill and the nutmeg and the garlic and everything's kind of coming together? Okay, so right about now, while your spinach is cooking down, you should be getting your phyllo out of the refrigerator. And I didn't put this on the equipment list, and I'm sorry. You're going to need 2 thin towels, kitchen towels, and you're going to want to get them wet. Because one of the keys to working with phyllo is that you have to keep it moist. It dries out in a flash, okay? And once it's dry, you can't get it wet again, so it's just easier to keep it moist. If you've never worked with it before, when we open the package, I'll explain how to do it so that you get the most out of it. Oh, that looks great. Okay, let's shut that heat off.
Okay.
Yeah, you did it. You did it. Yeah. Okay, so I happen to like this particular brand of feta. It is Bulgarian. I get it at the international market, and it comes in this nice little tub that's resealable. And I like it because it's got a really good pungency to it,
Okay.
but it melts really well.
Oh, wow, okay.
So when you
Okay.
buy the stuff that's already crumbled, you're not going to get as good a melting factor as you do when you buy it in a brick. And this one, I mean, look at how easily that pulls
Yes.
apart. It's great. And I mean, I guess anyone that's in a brick is going to work really well, but I happen to like this Bulgarian one. You can use a Greek, you can use French. It doesn't matter.
It's crumbly, but it's not like
But it's
dry.
creamy.
It's a creamy crumble. That's it.
Oh, it's stir away, Miss Honey. And it looks like it's an awful lot of feta. Don't panic. Okay, you want to try that?
Yeah. Oh my
Big
God.
difference from that cheap
Big,
ass shit
I need to know what that is because that is amazing. Oh.
And it's really when you shop at an ethnic market, and I do a lot of shopping in ethnic markets, the prices are for specialty items are cheaper than if you go to Smith's or Whole Foods. Or you're just gonna be so much happier for going out of your way. And most of the independent markets are independently owned, so you'll be supporting a local business person at the same time. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so now we're gonna add in our shredded mozz.
That flavor in my mouth right now.
Isn't
It's
that
like,
crazy?
Oh, it's so good.
And the difference.
You gotta
Okay,
try that cheese.
So this one's called Zergut, and it's spelled Zergut. You could barely see it on the label from that distance, but all feta is all sheep's milk. So if you have a cow's milk problem, this is going to be an okay cheese for you to enjoy. That looks great. Look, break up those bigger pieces of feta with the back of the spoon.
Okay.
Great. Oh my gosh. All right, can you guys see this? That's hot. Can you guys see it? That's what you should be looking like right about now. Okay? And we're just going to let it sit there. Now we're going to get to the fun part, she said with an evil laugh. Okay. It's all good. Just leave it. And now we're just going to let it sit. We're going to give some time for those flavors to meld. And we're going to melt our butter, which I haven't done yet. And clean off our boards, because we're going to be putting our phyllo dough right on here. Okay. We put the butter into the microwave.
So I'm nervous about this part because it's phyllo dough. And I've never worked with it, but I know it's like very thin and yes. So
Okay, so here's a couple of tips about shopping for phyllo. You can always get it in Whole Foods or a really good supermarket, but let's go back to the ethnic market again. If you shop in an ethnic market, whether it's a Greek market or like International Marketplace, which I love, they have a much higher turnover rate in specialty products. So it's going to be fresher. It's going to be less dry. It's going to just hold up a lot better. And oh, and look at my husband.
thank you.
Yeah, the ice bucket's in the sink here, babe. So your phyllo is going to come in a plastic bag, like a sealed plastic bag, like you would find potato chips in. And so you want to be very careful opening the end. And if it's got a seam on it, just tear down the seam. And when you look at your phyllo dough box, a lot of times there's great recipes on the back. This one.
I don't know about the zucchini pie, but I would love me some apple
Oh,
strudel.
this is going to be just like Spanakopita, only made with zucchini instead.
It's the zucchini.
Oh, you don't care for zucchini?
No, I mean, I'll eat it. No, I mean, I will eat anything. Just about anything. But
Everybody
zucchini's not
has
my
one
favorite.
thing they won't eat. What won't you eat? I can tell you what mine is. It's easy.
I don't know. What's yours?
I hate peanuts.
Peanuts?
I hate the way they smell.
Oh,
And I
wow.
don't like melon either, because it smells like mildew to me.
Oh, wow.
Everybody's got something they don't eat. You figure it out. You think about it.
I'll think about it.
So when you're looking at your phyllo package, you'll see right on this, but I'm going to try and get close enough. There's a number 4. Now, the bigger the number, the thicker the sheets. Okay? So if you're uncomfortable working with a 4, you might want to get a 6 if you can find it. A 10 is a much thicker, and that's actually intended to line like a tart pan or a mini muffin pan to fit stuff into. But I have 10s out in the freezer too.
Okay.
Okay.
Usually it's size 0 as well.
I don't know. I've never seen a 0.
The 0.
They're
It's
not-
keto.
Okay.
It's wafer thin.
It's wafer thick. Okay, so the trick here is
Finding
find your
that,
edge, and let me get my wet towels, because seriously, I'm not even kidding. You want to keep it moist. Now your towel should be damp, so you should wet it down and squeeze the hell out of it. And that beeping is my microwave telling me that butter is got out. So you'll see, I hope you guys can see this.
Okay.
Because we had to kind of raise the camera today to accommodate all of this fabulousness. Okay, so you'll see that it has a piece of saran on top, and that there's a piece of saran on the bottom. And this is actually folded in half, and we're gonna fold it back.
Oh my God, that's...
I know, right? Okay, and guess what? Your phyllo dough is gonna split, okay? It happens.
So if you're anal retentive, don't even try this, okay? Because you're gonna have problems, honey.
It flipped me out the very first time. I was like, oh my God, they're breaking. Don't worry, we're gonna butter them together. So I just wanna get this damp towel, and we're just gonna let it sit. Okay?
So you don't even press it down, you just put it over and
it's just
everything.
a battery. It's just a battery.
Well, and I'm sure in this dry weather out here, it's
yes,
even more critical.
Even more important, exactly. Now, there's certain things that you're gonna. Do you want a wooden handle or a metal handle?
I'll do a wooden handle.
Okay.
I've got one that's exactly like this, but smaller. The same.
Okay, so we're just going to set that there because butter is going to be the key to working with our phyllo. Okay? So, it's okay. It's just a counter. It wipes out. Here. Does it make you feel better? Put it on there. It makes you feel better.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, you're going to have 3 sheets. 1. And
You
they're
totally made me want to work with phyllo.
now they're thin.
Yeah.
I should have taken a busted one for myself, but that's okay. And keep it covered. All right, take your butter
Okay.
and go side to side. Here, can you scoot your cutting board over just a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so you're going to go side, hold it in place with your fingers if you have to, but you're going to go side to side and make sure that you cover all of the dough. And too much butter is better than not enough. And you see I'm dripping it on the towel. It doesn't affect me at all. I don't care.
You're just...
Towel's going to go in the wash.
The towel's going to go in the wash. If the
And we
butter,
know where to get butter if we need it.
yeah, and the butter, if it sinks through the towel and gets on the phyllo, it's not going to hurt my feelings at all. Just get liberal. And, all right, see how it's split right here? Don't
Yeah.
worry. Keep it together because we're going to lay another piece of phyllo right on top. Okay, good. Here's piece number 2. So 3 is a magic number here. Put it second one right on top of the first one. Kind of iron out the wrinkles and do the same thing. More butter. And it doesn't have to be neat. I mean, get wild. The more butter, the better.
Look at that.
And see how it's sticking together?
Yeah.
How the glue, the butter is acting as a glue to kind of make the 2 layers combine. Now I'm using unsalted butter, and that's what I recommend because the feta is so salty. But if you only had salted butter, it would work just as well. Okay, and we're going to do one more layer. But you see how when it split, we didn't panic? Because it's all gluing it together.
There we go. I have to admit, I was like a little intimidated when I first. It's like I gotta be like totally gentle when I do this.
No, because the butter acts like glue, man.
Well, because I looked over at you and you're just like, oh. I'm like, okay, all right. I guess I don't have to be as worried.
So I have a little cooking group that we have had to halt our meetings for a variety of reasons. COVID. And one of our very first get-togethers, I taught everybody how to do this. So once you know this technique of working with your phyllo, there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with it. You can actually do the same exact thing that we're going to do and put like little pieces of apple and brie and make the same.
Ooh, there you go.
Or you could use another soft cheese with a mango chutney and just make these cute little triangular appetizers. Okay, So this is why I told you to have a pizza cutter. Okay,
Yeah, why don't you move that butter
Oh, I
out
should
of the
move
way?
that. Thank you, babe.
Thank you.
Okay. I love a pizza cutter. It's more than just pizza.
Yeah.
Okay? This is not a unitasker. We're actually going to make 4 long strips of filet. And I like to go down the middle and once on each side.
You don't get a ruler out?
You know what? Sometimes I do.
I had to a couple of weeks ago. I tried making fig Newtons.
Yeah, you have to use the ruler.
Oh, I think.
That's fine. If it's not perfect, then right. Okay. So I'm going to set you up. Now I told you to have a scoop. And when I told you the numbers on the scoops, I want to illustrate this. You see this part that sweeps back and forth? When you squeeze the handle, there's a sweeper. And if you look at it, there's a little number on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
There's
60.
This one's a 60. This one's a 100. Okay? The bigger the number, the smaller the scoop. Okay? And so we're going to do this, and we're going to do it together.
Okay.
All right. So you're going to pick up your edge,
Okay.
and you're going to make a triangle, like you were going to make a paper airplane and make the square.
Okay.
Okay? And you're going to kind of tighten the edge down like this. Make sure you got your edge that you cut through. Okay?
Okay.
And then you're going to pick it up and do this. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Now, pick up your piece,
Oh, look at that.
and then you're just going to
So
go back and forth.
kind of like back in school making one of the little footballs.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my, yes, I totally
The
remember.
paper football.
I'm
yeah.
gay and I remember that.
And so you're just going to kind of tighten it down a little bit on each fold. And then when you get to the end, you're going to have a little like flap left over. Use that as your sealer around the back.
This is fabulous.
Okay, now see. Okay, one more fold. Okay, you've got a little flap there.
Yeah.
Pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. You lost part of your stuff. That's okay. Okay, and then we're just going to put it onto our cookie sheet.
Oh my gosh,
Right
that's
here.
fabulous. Okay.
And that's it. And all you do is fluff, fold, and repeat.
That's fabulous.
Yeah,
I'm gonna-
right?
I feel like.
You thought this was going to be like
Well, I
super
know
hard.
it's just cool. I didn't know it. Like, you fold it like a little frisbee there, or the little football.
But you really thought that working with the feel was going to be a lot more difficult than
Yeah.
it is.
No, it's not.
And you don't have to put a lot of filling in because you got to remember you've got a lot of butter working, and it's going to puff up. The butter is going to help the phyllo to puff up. And once you get into a rhythm, I mean, these come together super fast. See? Just like that.
It's fabulous.
I bet you didn't know that you were this accomplished.
I didn't. Who knew?
See, now you're going to go home and you're going to make this for your husband and your son. And
Oh, my husband would be like, he loves his Greek food.
they're going to be so impressed with you. And they're going to say, you need to go and spend more time with Good for Smoothie.
There you go.
Let me get you some for the
Okay.
next one too.
Okay.
That one might be a little big.
Yeah.
Because now that you've got the hang of it,
Yeah, now I totally want to try, you've got me wanting to try, what's it called?
I don't know.
My brain is just terrible today. The desserty one with the honey and the,
Oh, the brie with the apples?
no, what's
Oh, the baklava.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't made that.
Oh, look at you. That totally sounded like, no.
I don't make a lot of desserts, first of all. And it's because John and I have collectively lost 100 pounds.
Look at you.
And so we don't want to put it back on.
Well, don't worry, I took yours, so that's okay.
And so now we're just going to repeat. And if you've got butter on your cutting board or your work surface, don't worry. Because guess what? It's gonna go right in there.
This is fabulous.
No,
I'm like so excited.
this is kind of tedious actually, because you're watching us do the same thing over and over again, but this gives you an opportunity to catch up. Yep, don't worry, if it tears, just
Yeah,
glue it back together.
Yep, I'm just gonna put it right back down
You're
here.
getting a little too cavalier there with the
I know, I was getting like,
I find that the first sheet is actually the hardest
yeah.
one to work with, because it doesn't have any glue on it yet.
I would agree with you on that. It wants to be unruly. It doesn't
Just
have a
like
firm-
you.
Someone has to be, sure. It's like my teenage son.
I remember when Jack was a teenager.
I remember when Jack was like,
5,
yes. Like, oh my God. And the next time I see him, he's like in high school.
and now he's a grown-ass man with a job.
Look at him. Good job to you guys. Get him out of the nest and working.
Winner.
Seriously, because honey, I am fearful of our child.
Why?
Did you guys ever worry? Like, is your kid, is he, are they ever going to leave the house?
All parents worry.
That's what I
If they
figured. I'm
don't,
like-
they're not doing their job.
Yeah, that's what I figure. I'm like, because you know, there are some days where I'm like, oh my God, we have done a terrible job. He's not going to.
You know
and then,
what?
And then you're like, oh my God, he's actually like this intelligent person.
And you're doing a great job, and he's going to be a fabulous adult, and that just like our kid, you know. You worry about them as they're growing, and you know they grow into themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not worrying, you're probably not doing your job.
Yeah, yes, I would agree with that.
And Donnelly's now
He's 17. He's about ready to start his senior year.
How are they going to do school up there? Because
So-
they haven't figured that out down here yet.
So they've already announced that you can, at the high school at least, they're offering a all online or a hybrid.
Uh-huh.
Now he already had a couple of hybrid classes because he was doing community college. It counts for both community college and high school credit.
Right.
So he was doing that. So we're lucky that he had
He's
a chance.
comfortable with that.
Yeah, he's had a chance to adjust to that. And so, yeah, my husband's freaked out about Miss Rona. So we're definitely having him do online.
He's not going to do hybrid?
He's not going to do hybrid, he's just going to do it all online.
Cool. And
Which is good because
is he disciplined enough to do it all online?
he's gotten better. He has gotten better. And the good thing is, I have to say, the thing I love about the online is you're doing it whenever. He is not a morning person. And that's why we pushed him to go to do the community college.
Half and half.
Yeah, we were like, can you just start off, because that way you don't have to get up.
Get older company.
Yeah, you can start halfway through the day and then finish up in the evening, and so it worked out so well.
I'm going to line you all up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so he just finished his first year doing that,
So
and
he won't have to go for a full 4 years because he'll already
Correct.
have part of his college done.
yes.
Which is what we tried to convince Jack to do, but
Yeah.
he wasn't having any part of it.
Well, at first he was like, well, it's a harder class, and I'm like, kid,
It counts
like
twice.
you can either take this cat class once, like right now, or you can take it in high school and in college. Which would you rather do? He's like, oh.
And if you do it now, you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
So like I said, there's a lot of variations you can do with your, with this technique. You can pretty much put anything that will hold up inside your little triangles and end up looking like a rock star at the next potluck.
So you are at 50 minutes already.
That's okay, because once this goes in the oven, the baked brie takes just a couple seconds.
Okay. Ooh. This is just I'm so glad you chose these because I like now like I'm definitely gonna try this on my own because I don't know that I would like have thought about it because I like eating this
because you read it and you think, holy shit, I can't do that. But once you get your hands on it,
yeah, it's not.
It's a lot more approachable. Okay, so here we go.
See, and I do like the baklava, honey.
I do too. We both do. That's the problem. We both love the baklava. That's the friggin' problem.
Used to have a workmate who was from Turkey, and Semi used to make baklava for every potluck, and he would do it with he would do it Turkish style, so the honey water or the sugar water, rose water rather than the honey, and
it's delicious.
And pistachios.
Okay,
Lots
so
of pistachios.
I love the pistachios.
Now we've got our leftover phyllo dough. This is what you're going to do with it. Remember how it was one great big long sheet? We're going to roll it back up. We covered up the bottom with the saran, and we're just going to roll it. We're going to pop it back in the box for now, but you want to make sure you put it in plastic. Okay? All right, so now we're going to put these in the oven, your 400-degree oven, until they start to look golden brown, and then they'll be finished. So while this is going in the oven, we're going to do the baked brie, and the baked brie, literally, you guys, takes 10 minutes.
I love this. Thank you. I need to get my Fresca.
I was ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so this is also something that you can do ahead when you've got company coming. You're going to take your brie. Honey, why don't you wipe down that cutting board and get some of the butter off it? Or flip it over.
Okay, there we go.
It's two sides. Okay. So you don't want to use like the really good triple cream brie for this.
Okay.
You want to use like the cheap.
Kirkwood.
Yeah.
Costco brie.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I want you to do with this brie is I want you to cut it this way.
Okay.
And I gave you this knife because this Santrico has grantins in it, and it helps to stop the cheese from sticking. Those little pockets.
Oh, I did not
Okay.
know that.
So now if you're gonna do this ahead of time, save your package, and then you can wrap it back up in the wax paper, and put it in the refrigerator until you're ready to bake. I'm just gonna move this off to the side, and we will assemble the rest of the Spanakopita off camera. Okay, so I told you to have your perfect.
Look at that.
Told you to have your and the reason I told you to have it cold is because it's so much better and so much easier to do it if it's cold. If it's warm, it's just gonna ooze out everywhere.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna use fig preserves, and my husband actually made these fig preserves
Look
from our
at
fig
you. I
tree.
saw some figs on the table right there, girl.
Yes, you can have
Love me
some.
some figs.
Oh, here, right now. So what you're gonna do is take between 1/4 and 1/2 cup
Okay.
of fig preserves, and you're gonna spread it on that.
Okay.
Okay? I am gonna take some prosciutto, and I'm gonna julienne it, which means to cut it into nice skinny little strips.
Someone didn't like Julianne when they made a name up like that for her. Sure.
Have you seen Julianne Hough? She's about 2 minutes around.
So should it be like basically just cover?
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect. And we're just gonna do this,
Okay.
set it aside. And I'm just gonna use the off the bottom of this because we just wanna crisp this up a little bit. Okay, so now Miss Honey, take, sprinkle the nuts on top of
Okay.
your jam. And so the nuts are gonna do a couple different things. They're gonna add a note of nuttiness, obviously, to it. But it's also gonna add some crunch. Okay, now
I love crunching my food.
me too. You can put a little bit more on.
Okay.
Don't be stingy. Now, on the instruction sheet, I gave you some combinations. Raspberry and walnut. We're doing fig and almond. That's beautiful. Or you could do peach or apricot with pecan, however you want to say it. Okay, so now you're going to take your other piece of brie, and you're going to put it cut side up on top of that.
Oh.
Yeah, just like that.
Okay.
And then we're going to take our
That.
little julienne ham.
Like an open-faced club sandwich.
Okay. We're going to take this beautiful, filthy looking stone. Okay, I'm actually cooking it on a pepper chest stone. And we're going to pop this in the oven with the spanakopita. It's going to do two things. One, hopefully, if I timed it right, everything's going to come out at the same time. And two, it gives you a chance to look and see how your brie's coming along, or your spanakopita's coming along. So now, if you were going to make this ahead of time, you cut your brie in half, load your jam on, put your nuts on, and then wrap it back up in the saran and pop it right back into your little thing, stick it in the fridge.
Okay.
And then right before you put it in the oven, sprinkle on your hand, and you're done. And it's only has to be in there. It only has to be in there like 10 minutes, because you don't want it oozing all over the place. You just want to soften everything up and let all the flavors come together.
Oh,
Isn't that great?
it is.
Okay, so we're using prosciutto today, but you could use jamon de serrano, which is the Spanish version, or you could use speck, which is it's actually a smoked version of prosciutto. So instead of having that nice clean, salted meat taste, it's got the salted meat taste with a little bit of smoke.
I love my smoke.
I do too. So speck is a great choice. If you don't have any of those, you could use bacon. I like the bacon with the apricot and the pecan. It works really well together. But use your imagination. You can get absolutely insane with this. You can use, at Christmas time, use fresh cranberries and some brown sugar and mix them together.
Yeah.
And then you can put rosemary or thyme in there with it.
Ooh.
And that's your jam. And then skip the ham on top. If you've got vegetarians, skip it.
Pine nuts.
Pine nuts are great too, but they're really expensive and they burn very easily. So if you don't know what you're doing with them, use something that's a little bit more forgiving until you get comfortable. Because nuts burn in a hot flash. There's a lot of fat in them.
Okay.
And
but if you're going to put it on top of the jam, it's
if you're going to put it on top of the jam, it can work. I would probably mix that with more of an herb jam than a fruit jam, if it was going to be me. But yeah, you could let your imagination go crazy with this. And go online, there's like a gazillion recipes. Now, if you want to get super fancy, and I know you do.
Ooh, I do, girl.
Okay, your leftover phyllo.
Yeah.
You could take your brie, fill it, and put the cut sides together. So opposite of how we did talk today.
Yeah.
Put it together, and then put it in the middle of your 3 sheets of phyllo.
Okay.
And wrap the entire thing.
Oh, wow.
In the phyllo, and then take your top and just kind of twist it to make it look like a little.
Okay.
Floret, yeah.
And then you bake it until the phyllo is done.
Yeah.
And then you wait for it to cool to room temperature.
Okay.
And then you cut into it, and you look like a total fucking badass.
There we go.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
When you're making appetizers, at least I think, especially if you're having a crowd, the idea is to look like a total badass without having a lot of drama. So I told you I'd tell you when to freeze your spanakopita. You take them on that cookie sheet, just like we did, and instead of putting them in the oven, take the entire cookie sheet and put it in the freezer and freeze them until they're solid. Then you can take them off the cookie sheet, put them, I wouldn't put them in a Ziploc bag because they'll bang around and your phyllo will flake off. I would put them in wax paper layers in a Tupperware container or some other plastic tub.
Okay.
Stick them in the freezer, date them, okay, date them.
What?
Because you've got a lot of butter in there.
Yeah.
And if you're opening and closing the freezer, you're letting heat in and it can melt and crystallize. So I would say you can make these and maybe freeze them 30 days in advance.
Okay.
Max 30 days in advance.
Okay.
If you want more spinach in yours, you could certainly add more spinach. Like I said, you could add chopped kale. You could use escarole if you've got it laying around. I mean, it's one of those things where you can make a mixed green and feel like you're being super healthy by each feta cheese and butter.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Well, they balance each other out.
Yeah, they balance each other out. It makes it neutral. So, were there any questions at all?
I have not had any questions.
Well, who's watching that we can say a shout out to?
Well,
Especially people you don't know because they're.
I see Scott Britt's watching.
Okay.
Who
and
else?
Linda Yee.
Hi, Linda. Linda works as a.
Debbie's watching.
Which Debbie?
It's my
One of your girls, Debbie?
no, my husband's cousin.
Oh, great. Linda sells a fabulous product line called 31, which makes the most amazing totes and storage solutions. They're terrific.
Oh, and Gil's on.
Which Gil?
Gil Quintana.
Hi, Gil. Mwah.
Mindy Donahue.
Great. Hi, Mindy. Mindy used to work with John, I think, and she now lives out in Pahrump or something.
Chef Daniel.
Ontiveros?
No.
Which Dan?
Mixing.
Oh, hi! Okay, Chef Dan was our chef on our European river cruise that we did.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so he now follows me and he keeps up with me through Facebook.
Yeah.
He's super talented.
And
Cool.
Robert Bell.
Hello, Roberto.
Zach Ellis.
He
Dolce Terrier is on.
Oh, Jimmy and Robert, two of my dearest friends that I went to high school with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, babe. And he finally got to marry his husband,
Oh,
Robert, a
cool.
few years ago.
Uh-huh.
And we were very thrilled to be able to be at the wedding.
Now, please tell me it wasn't like an over-the-top, like ridiculous.
No, it was a beach wedding.
Okay.
It was a
Oh,
beach
see, I
wedding.
love
Yeah.
beach weddings.
We
Yes.
went on a cruise out of Galveston,
Okay.
and we went to Cozumel, I think, and then got on this little pontoon boat. It took us to a private island, and they got married on this private island. It was
That's fabulous.
lovely. It was
That's
lovely.
fabulous. See, I like that. I just don't like the ones where there was this one recently, and it's like
The
they've
one,
got
the
like
one from
these.
Sex and the City.
I don't know, but they have
Or
like these
Liza Minnelli
big
song?
white. No, this was like I saw this on Facebook, and they were wearing like these big white fluffy capes,
This was
and
very,
in front of like
very
a
beautiful.
castle-looking thing. It's like, no.
This was very beautiful, and Jimmy and Robert like to go on cruises for Jimmy's birthday, which is at Halloween time. And they always go in drag on the Halloween cruises. And they have the most fan-friggin-tastic costumes. You would totally love it. And they obviously would love you.
So the posse's on, of course.
Hi, Posse!
Miss Nanette.
Hi, Nanette. Nanette's one of my girls back from Texas.
Oh, look at her.
Justin Hall.
He's like a super talented chef, but it makes me embarrassed that he's watching.
Of course, your sister.
Nancy's there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nancy
good.
was
Well, she
there.
wasn't sure if she was going to be able to be there.
Kim Kylie.
You know, these are a lot
The
of
Kylie
military
ladies
people.
on.
Okay.
Sunshine.
I love my military people.
Sunshine. Val Phillips.
Hey.
Hello.
Okay, so you talk to the people.
Okay, so
And I'm going to check out.
okay, so I've got. Let me see. Scott Gray is watching. Scott Gray is a fabulous costumer. He's worked in the theater and made just so many awesome things. Fabulous guy. And Doug. Hello, Doug. Doug, I met Doug through Bacon Strip, and he goes to like all these different shows, supports the arts totally.
Just
And
hang on a second.
Yes.
Hey, Depop, I know you're there. Because I know if Nanette's there, you're watching too. Yeah.
so he, just takes pictures and awesome pictures, posts them online. So a lot of my fabulous pictures are from Doug.
Oh, nice. I need
Yes.
to come up there and have him take some pictures of me.
There you go.
Because you always look fantastic in your pictures.
So, and then Ross Taylor. So Ross Taylor, he does, he's ventriloquist.
I'm
He's
going
got,
to give you this other minute.
oh, there we go. Horny for food. Yes, honey. Horny for food.
And I have this one. It
Fuck,
says,
I love
fuck, I love cheese. And this is fucking delicious.
I love those.
I'll have to send you some.
Okay, fabulous.
We're almost done. So continue on with your story.
So yeah, so Ross does, he's ventriloquist. His puppet is Ruby, Miss Ruby Ross. She got big red lips, and he was
Kind of Waylon and Madam.
yeah, kind of yes, Waylon and Madam Flowers, and he had just started a show at the Palace, which unfortunately due to COVID just closed shop. But yeah, had a show there. So yeah, it's fabulous.
So you've got a lot of different types of folks watching you as well.
Yes.
Well, because you've had a varied career.
I
in
have.
education and
Yes.
restaurant work and
Yes.
street walking.
Yes, exactly, girl. Oh, I can tell you this wig's getting hot up in here, girl.
Well, it's the ovens are 400, right?
I know.
Do you need a personal
Oh,
fan?
no.
I'll get
It's
you
like-
a personal fan. I have my menopause fan. I shit you not. I have a white one for daytime and a black one for
Someone's
nighttime.
like, shouldn't you be able to put an air conditioner up in that wig?
You should be able to put a fan up in there.
Have a vent.
Okay, so
Look at those.
now they could probably go another minute or two. If you like forgot about them, it wouldn't hurt them any to go another minute or two because it just gets a little bit darker brown. Now, babe, can you like angle the camera down so people can see the cookie sheet a little bit? And honey, can you tilt it up using your other hand?
Yes.
I want you to see that there's an awful lot of butter on there. Don't panic, it's fine. It's fine.
I was worried.
Don't.
I was worried. Okay.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is put this on there. I'm gonna hand you this
Okay.
and this if you want
Okay.
to start putting the Spanakopita
Okay.
on there. And our Brie is done at the same time as our Spanakopita.
Look at
I thought the fuck out of a cheese pot was like the perfect one.
that. Yeah, well,
So if you like my sassy kitchen gear, it's from a fan-friggin-tastic company online called Blue Q, and they make all sorts of inappropriate, potentially inappropriate, with bad words on them. So like if you have little kids at home, it's probably not the best choice for
so
you.
they'll be great for your next church banquet.
Yeah, perfect for your next church actually.
Well, we could have brought it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our church was kind of loosey-goosey.
Yes.
Okay, so now look at those. Beautiful, right? Okay, so I'm going to let you come into this first,
Okay.
since you have never had it before.
Okay.
And I'm going to get this out of the way so you don't burn your little hands on that hot sheet. And just smear it on. That's it, and just smear it on. So the sourdough that's there is actually the one that I was telling you about that I made. It's whole wheat sourdough. So you're going to get this salty, sweet, crunchy. It's great, right?
Yeah.
Now you can use this on crackers. You can use any kind of French bread that you like. I just happen to have this, so this is what we're using. And
How's it with Wonder Bread?
you know what? If you cut the crusts off
Oh.
and butter it and toast it in the pan, it would look great. Like like fancy canapé bread. That's just too much work. It's easier to go to the grocery store and get a loaf of French bread and slice it. Isn't that great?
It's so good.
So you've got the saltiness from the cheese and the ham, you've got the crunchiness from the almonds, and you've got that sweet from the jam. Now John makes this jam from scratch from the figs on our tree. If you want to do it, it's super simple. He adds no sugar because the figs are so sweet to begin with. You just kind of cut them up, stick them in the pan. He uses, I think, correct me when I get wrong, babe, a little lemon juice. He throws in spices, sometimes star anise or nutmeg or cinnamon or a
Actually,
combination
I
of
normally
all.
don't do spices. I just
This one
do
has cinnamon in it.
maybe.
And then just lets it cook because there's so much moisture and sugar in there. You don't have to peel the figs.
I mean,
it all breaks down.
Just take the stems off the top of the fig, so that the tough stem part. You can rough dice them. If you want to, run them into a food processor first. Just give it a little burst to break them up, and then into the pan, and you just let it cook slow. Let it cook slow. I'll squeeze for about 2 pounds of figs. I'll end up putting half a lemon in there, juicing half a lemon into it, just to give it a little bit of bright. And the sweet is the black fig.
Because it's super. Now you've never done it with anything other than the figs that are on our tree. And our tree happens to be a dwarf black mission fig called blackjack. So they're not little figs, it's just the tree's little.
Oh my god. That's Spanakopita. Oh my god.
Came out good?
It's
I'll eat the mess
so
of it.
good. Oh my god, it's so good. Oh, it's the best I've ever had. It's so good.
And it's really, You guys, you saw how the first sheet of phyllo is going to be really difficult for you. It is always going to fall apart.
Napkins.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Napkins.
And it's always going to make you uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable is part of growth. You know, think about when you were a kid and you had growing pains because your muscles and your bones were growing. Think about when you went to college for the first time and were scared to death walking through a door. It's learning something new is about growth. And so working with the phyllo, I hope I gave you enough confidence that you think that you can do this on your own at home.
You definitely gave me the confidence.
I'm
so gonna try this when I get home.
I'm so glad. So are there any questions about ingredients I used, where to find them, where you can see honey perform? I don't know what we're doing next, so don't ask me. It'll be next month, because now that people are actually able to socialize safely, of course. And don't worry, honey's temperature was taken on her way in, and she was sanitized.
Fully.
So we're observing safety procedures here at our home. Our restaurants here in Las Vegas are observing severe safety precautions, and for that we are truly grateful. We encourage you to support your local restaurants if you can, either through outdoor dining or through takeout. And for those of you who live here in Las Vegas, if you don't know about secretburger.com, you are making a huge mistake. Just this past week, I had the incredible opportunity, and he's actually watching, cooking with, like I'm cooking with you. I got to cook with Chef Justin Kingsley Hall while he made a traditional French Bastille Day dinner. So we were able to pick up the ingredients from him, and he has his soon-to-be open Main Street Provisions with Kim Owens, and we were able to pick up a heritage bird, top-of-the-line ingredients, and actually cook live with him to create this restaurant-quality meal. So if you're not doing secretburger.com here in town, you're making a mistake. By doing that, you're going to support at least 2 local businesses, the restaurant that you're purchasing from and Jolene Menina, who owns Secret Burger. Forte Tapas is doing one either today or tomorrow with paella. If you haven't purchased, it's a little too late, but keep an eye on it.
Every Wednesday.
Yeah, there's
Stromboli.
always Stromboli from our good friend Vincent Rotolo. Our good friend Chris Decker over at Metro Pizza does different ones. So it's definitely worth you checking out. Some of them are grab and go, and some of them are cook along. I love the cook alongs because I always learn something. When I did the cook along with James Trees, he completely changed my hot chili pepper for freaking forever. I now know everything I was doing wrong. So this is a great way for you to learn something new.
Nancy Mason wanted to know ideas of what you can do with the phyllo.
Okay, so like I told you before, you can use the same technique to create great little appetizers of filling, put whatever you want in. You could do a soft cheese and a fruit chutney. You could do apple slices with brie. You can take the entire baked brie and wrap it in the phyllo dough, create a little bow kind of thing on top and bake the whole thing. You can also use it to actually make, if you wanted to go that route, make baklava, and there's a lot of great easy recipes online to do it. But once you have the confidence of doing this technique, it'll give you confidence to try a different technique that might be a little bit more complicated. So it's super easy to work with. Just remember, butter, 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 and keep it moist.
And you're right. I was like totally worried about all the butter in the dish. No.
It's crazy good. What else?
That was it. That was it for questions. So
either we did a really good job explaining shit, or they're so far behind us. But I'm always here to answer your questions. I hope you made your Tinto di Verano, and I hope you're enjoying it. I know Honey's enjoying her Fresca.
There is like a Fresca shortage up in Washington right now.
There is here too.
And tab. That's my drink is tab, girl.
Your drink?
First they did not have tab. Then it was Fresca. Then it was like diet soda.
That's all Coca-Cola.
I was like, are you kidding me right now?
Now see, if my brother
I had a hard
watching-
time getting Diet Pepsi at Costco.
Yeah. If my brother was
we couldn't find
watching,
any.
and I
We
know
couldn't
he's
find
not,
any at Costco.
I would tell him Coke needs to get their act together because he works for Coca-Cola.
For real, get it together, honey.
Yeah.
Because I need my tab to have with my bugles and my spray cheese.
You fill those bugles with
Yeah,
cheese.
take that spray cheese. I mean, I love me some good food, but I love me some processed shit too, honey. I will eat that, yeah.
Because this is not made on health food alone.
No, it's not made on health food alone, honey.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. This is how we say goodbye.